it's Christina from Redefine Creative, and I am back with another process video, this time for Wild Whisper Designs, and I am using that sketch that was just on the screen as kind of my starting spot. And so my challenge for you today is to choose a sketch that you just absolutely love, or a sketch, this particular sketch even if you want, and create a layout. And so I am going to be using a combination of two different collections from Wild Whisper Designs. This first one, and the one that you see me working on in the background here right now, is from this Small Patterns collection, which is the new mini collection for the month of June. And then the other pattern papers that you see kind of in the background that I'm going to be using are from last month's collection, which is called Forever and Always. And so I am going to take this kind of block pattern, and I'm going to follow the sketch pretty closely here. And I went ahead and added some crepe paper for texture to the bottom. And then I'm going to take some of this mini pom-pom trim, and it's just white. And I'm going to add that along the bottom, and that's going to give some texture and dimension to that bottom edge. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take my photo, and I'm going to leave it a 4x6 size, and I'm just going to add a thin white cardstock border. And then I'm going to grab some dimensional foam to put in the background of that. And this is going to help my photo sit flat above that texture that I added to the bottom of that piece of pattern paper. And so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take my hexagon punch, and I'm going to go through and punch out each one of the patterns that I want to include. And so you can see there I'm using some of the cards from the Forever and Always card set, and then I'm using a bunch of the pattern papers as well. And I'm going to go ahead and try out this small hexagon size along with the sketch. And I end up deciding that this size of punch is just too small for this particular design. And so I go ahead and move up to the next bigger size of hexagon punch instead. And I'm going to repunch all of the shapes here coming up. So this is just a photo of my daughter when she was a little bit younger, and she's all dressed up in this really gorgeous white dress to be a flower girl in a wedding. And so I wanted to do something that has this kind of elegant feminine touch, but it's still kind of fun and playful. And I wanted to be able to use a bunch of these gorgeous pattern papers. And so this sketch was absolutely perfect for that because it gives me the opportunity to include a bunch of really fun, bright pattern paper into my hexagon punch shapes, but it also allows me to keep kind of an elegant look. So adding the crepe paper and the pom-pom trim and that black and white box in the background is going to kind of help with that part. So I'm just kind of laying out how I want all of these punches to sit on the layout, making sure I have enough of each shape where I want it to go. And so I am inking all of the edges of all of the pattern paper as well as the full layout with that Distress Oxide and Tattered Rose. And that's going to allow me to kind of pull everything together. So using one type of ink like this throughout your entire project and making sure that you've used it on all the pattern papers is a really great way to make sure that you kind of tied everything together. So giving it that little bit of distressing around the edges really ties things in. So then I went ahead and added some dimensional adhesive to all of those little hexagons, and it's just going to give me some additional interest and depth. So having those be dimensional rather than flat just creates a little bit different look, and I really like that difference in dimension. So I'm going to go ahead and grab these little Maggie Holmes phrases, and I'm going to add a couple of those underneath that title word that just says love you, and that's also for Maggie Holmes. And so it just says magical moments and happy heart. And then I'm going to take and I'm going to try and add these little hearts onto my hexagons, and I end up not liking that. So I take those off and I add just 3 little gold hearts into that top left corner where my black and kind of gray polka dot paper is. And that's basically going to do it. So the great thing with using a lot of pattern paper like this is you don't need a lot of embellishing because that already gives you a lot of detail. And so that's going to do it for this layout. So my challenge for you this week is to go ahead and find a sketch that you want to work with and create a layout. Do make sure that you tag me so I can check out what you're working on, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!